Hey gang, Tony here. It's been a while. Haven't been doing a whole lot of YouTube videos. I thought I would drop in because it is officially flea market and yard sale season, and I have in fact gone to a couple, including a thrift store. So figured I'd show you what I got. Before I do that, very quickly, just a little update about some writing stuff and things that are going on. So if you're interested, I have a new short story available in audio form, and it's free. So if you want to just go over and listen, that is at Tales to Terrify. It is episode 743. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description, but really you can just go to talestoterrify.com and look for episode 743. I am the first of two stories in that episode. It is called This Is My Happy Face, and I'm pretty proud of that one, so it is available. Also, just very quickly, my new novel should be coming out this year sometime. Things have progressed. Things are, the cover's being done right now, and the novel itself is in proofreading. So advanced reader copies are going to be coming available pretty soon. And then we'll hopefully have a date for that. I also did a podcast interview a few weeks ago, and that's going to be coming out sometime in July maybe. So I'll keep you updated on that. But for those of you who don't know who the hell I am and are just here for the yard sale stuff, I'll get to that now. So I have a bunch of stuff just sitting around. I'm going to start us off with this pretty cool local Halloween pin that I found. I have a few pins like this that are just local, kind of probably made for that day. This one says, if you couldn't read it, Akron Hilton Inn at Quaker Square, Happy Halloween. Not sure about a date on, is no date on it, but anyway, I'm going to add it to my collection. I have a bunch of like little local pins and things. I got a lot of random, nothing too exciting in the VHS department, but I grabbed a few things because they were like either free or like 25 cents, so I figured what the hell. I picked up a copy of The Terminator. As far as I know, I didn't bother looking this stuff up. I'm fairly certain this is a pretty common tape, so not like worth anything. But I figured I'd grab it since it was, I think that one was free. And then similar with these were like, I was at a yard sale that was one of those yard sales where they tell you like, what do you want to pay for this? So I made a big old pile, and then I made an offer on the pile. And when you do things like that, in situations like that, you can kind of like pile as much stuff as you want and kind of throw a price out there. I gave them a fair price. I wasn't like stingy about it. But The Goonies, I have this on Blu-ray. Really, no real need for the VHS copy, but again, it was one of those situations where, what the hell, why not? And similarly, The Sandlot. All probably like dollar VHS tapes anyway. All right. The other VHS tapes I grabbed are blank or recorded television stuff. So I love grabbing these. There's in fact even a community on Facebook called, I forget the exact name of it, but it's something along the lines of like Dank VHS, and that whole group is just all about selling, collecting, trading, digitizing tapes that people like recorded off of television, hopefully with commercials and hopefully within the era that we want. And yeah, so I have my own little mini collection. What I like to do is put on these tapes and let them play on my little CRT situation that I got going on over here while I'm working, because it's a nice like ambiance vibe sort of thing. This one says Band of Brothers Part 1. Two of these have a little bit of mold that I have to clean, so I haven't tested a couple of them, but I did pop one in that didn't have anything on it, and it does have some content, news programs, commercials. They seem to be probably, I think it's this one. Yeah, I wrote the 2000 on there because it seems to be 1999 into 2000. So I'm expecting the other tapes to probably be around the same era. kind of looks that way, except maybe this one looks a little older, so that might be a surprise. But these I have to clean up and check out. So those are fun. I have a stack of books in front of me. These came from a number of different places. The yard sale that I talked about, the flea market, a free little library. I grabbed a book and put one of my books in. So probably the most exciting of the bunch of things that I have here is Disney Adventures. I have a pretty good collection of Disney Adventure magazines from when I actually subscribed as a kid in the early 90s. This one is later, 1996, so I wasn't subscribing anymore at that point, so I didn't have this one. But I do like Disney Adventures. You know, they're cool little magazines. They were really nice. Like, it was one of the... I never subscribed to Nintendo Power or anything like that, but I did subscribe to that when I was younger. This was from the free little library. My Awful Cousin Norbert, which just looked interesting. I thought I'd give it a check. It's an old library copy, so it has like all the, you know, I kind of like that sort of stuff when they have the old library card thing in there. I'm sure it like decreases value of books, but I like it. A couple of newer scary monster books, way past my childhood. But I got the this Book of Monsters, Tales to Give You the Creeps, and more scary stories for sleepovers. I didn't really check the dates on these, but they look like 2000s, probably. Oh, that's interesting. There's like a little Cops and Kids sticker in there. Some kind of giveaway, I guess. This one is from... I am wrong. That is 1992. Huh. It just looked newer to me. So I was only 12 years old in 1992. Not familiar with that book, though. And this one is 1993. I was totally wrong. These are older. I got these for like 50 cents each. So $1 for those two. Then I have a couple cooking books. One is Home Sausage Making. I do make my own sausage sometimes, so that just was like one of those things that, what the hell, you know? And Food to Die For, hardcover, pretty nice copy. There's a little damage down there, but again, these were part of that big pile of things that I got at that one yard sale. So they just piled them in. I don't know what I for the giant pile of stuff I got there, I gave her $30. And it was a lot of stuff. I've only shown you a couple, the VHS and the books so far from that pile. But I was trying to be generous because she was older and they were moving and I didn't want to like lowball her on stuff. And then a couple of game guides that I got from the flea market. Diablo 2 strategy guide, pretty big one. And Blood Rain 2 strategy guide, more like a magazine. All right, those are all of the books and magazines and things. What do I got next? Oh, so I do have a lot of stuff from that one yard sale that I don't have in the room with me. I bought a stack of CDs, so I didn't count them, but there was over a dozen CDs. The only ones I kept for myself was the Men in Black CD, Men in Black 2 soundtrack. Men in Black... No, the first one. Men in Black #1 soundtrack. And Jack Johnson, To the Sea. I kind of like Jack Johnson. I used to listen to Jack Johnson more. I haven't in a really long time. I don't know that I ever heard the CD, but I figured I'd grab it since I was familiar with it. All the other CDs, I got a couple Lumineer CDs that I gave to my brother and his wife, and then the rest of the CDs were more stuff I like, but I gave them to my dad because he's kind of doing his own little new home stereo system thing with like record players and CDs and, you know, the receiver, the whole 9 yards. So I figured, you know, I gave him a bunch of stuff like The Who, Johnny Cash. I forget all that was in there. Ray Charles, bunch of stuff, some good stuff. So that was that. And then from that yard sale, the $30 yard sale, the other stuff I got was a pair of pretty good binoculars. I also gave those to my dad. And I got this cool little like plastic wind up, light up, holiday thing. It's a little vaguely religious. Like it's got a little, I think it's supposed to be an angel sitting at an organ and two little candles light up and it plays like Christmas music. I had to do a little soldering action on that to fix the lights, but I got that working. I gave that to my parents. What else was there? And then I feel like I'm forgetting something, but then the rest of what I grabbed and the reason I, was being kind of generous was I got a giant bin of toys. I'm probably not going to show you everything in here because there is a lot of stuff. It may not look like it, but it's a pretty deep. I'll give you a glimpse of the top there. And I will kind of give you the highlights. So some of the highlights for me were this. There's a lot of Burger King and McDonald's toys in there, which, I'm not that into. I really got this for some of the other stuff, so I'll probably end up selling or giving away the Happy Meal type toys, except this one, which I think is really cool. It is a Coca-Cola, and then it has, you kind of like do this. I'm not gonna be able to show you it working probably, but it has let's see if I can do this and not drop it. Oh, okay. And that's a polar bear, one of those, Coca-Cola polar bears. So I like that. I think that's pretty neat. But I do think it's just like a Happy Meal toy. This, similarly, is really cool. And you go, wow. I mean, come on, right? There's eyeballs in there and a tongue and stuff. I love that. So I'm going to keep that. I'm probably keeping all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff for my little mini collection. They're all, like, obviously missing things. The weapons aren't there. But we got a Raphael, which this is one of those, the ones that turn into, I don't want to open it because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get back in there, but he turns into a regular turtle. It's one of those, which I don't have that. And then just a regular Leonardo, missing his belt, although I have the belt in there somewhere. This is a wind-up Leonardo, so it has the little wind-up thing on there, and his arm goes around. And there's a Michelangelo that has a shell that opens up, but it kind of like isn't on the hinge. And I do have the shell. I left it over there. And there are a couple of pieces. There are a couple of little things that go with the turtles that I left over there that I forgot to bring over. Like a couple of weapons, a couple belts, a little mini, it's the jellyfish guy's little kick thing. I forget exactly the names of these things, but so there's all that. Got a BC biker figure, which I thought was neat. Got a little Toy Story guy. Woody. I couldn't think of his name. Dinosaurs. His little... I think that's a kid's meal toy of some kind. These are definitely kids meal toys, but I think I like the Batman stuff. So there's a Catwoman and a Batman cars. This is from a Swamp Thing figure. It's the Monster Trap. It just came with the figure. What else is worth showing you in here? Little Hot Wheels neat thing that kind of like, I forget where it's underneath, makes it go around. Probably a kid's meal toy as well. Got little Bobby. And got a wind-up Chihuahua from something that I can't remember. All Dogs Go to Heaven, maybe? I don't know. Got some of those, like the Space Jams, I think. Here's a Power Ranger thingy that's kind of like rubbery. I don't know what that goes to, but it's kind of neat. And some Power Ranger coins, plastic coins for Power Ranger stuff. And a Godzilla Force badge. There are a couple of cars in here. Some Dalmatians. Little X-Men figure, Jubilee, I think. I'll give you one more look in here now that I've taken some of the stuff off the top. So you could kind of see a few of the other things that are kind of buried in there. There were a lot of random little pieces, which is another reason I bought this bin. Like, just random, like, weapons and stuff, which go to other things that people sometimes need to collect. Like, this is a... there's a crowbar in here from Biker Mice from Mars. Yeah, that's a crowbar that goes with a Biker Mice from Mars, and I also have a helmet from Biker Mice from Mars in here. And things like that, you know, if people need them to complete a figure, there it is. If people need that kind of thing to, like, complete a figure, then it might sell on its own for a few bucks. So that's all the toys. Well, I showed you most of them anyway. Like I said, I don't want to go through the whole thing. I feel like that would take a long time. All right. And then the last thing that I bought, and this was... I don't know if it was a good idea or not. A giant box of Atari games, which I don't think you've ever seen me, if you've been watching my yard sale and thing finds. I don't think I've ever purchased and shown off Atari stuff because I'm not really an Atari guy. I was born in 1980. My first technically first console was the Intellivision, but it was really my dad's and I only played a bit of it. And then my real first console, of course, was the Nintendo. So I generally don't go in for Atari stuff, but I saw this box of Atari, and this was at the flea market, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for the games, like per game, and he said $2 a game, which already is pretty cheap. I mean, Atari stuff doesn't go for much, really. It's not, I mean, unless you find something that's super rare. So $2 was like, okay, you know. And I started counting the games, and there were 44 games in there. So if you're doing your math, that's $88 for the box of games. And I was like, you know. And I didn't want to just buy a couple games because, again, I don't even have an Atari. So it just seemed weird. And, like, out of curiosity, I was like, what would you take for the whole box? And he said $20, which threw me off guard for a second. I was like, $20? And again, if you're doing your math, that's roughly, like, if we ignore the extra 4 games, that's roughly 50 cents a game. So at that point, I basically had to buy it, because how do you pass up 50 cents a game for Atari, even if they're not in great condition? And they're not. They're, like, missing the labels. Some of them are missing the labels on that side. There's a few games that have no labels at all. Again, there's so many here, I'm not going to take you through the whole box, but I'll show you some of the stuff. There are a couple doubles, but not many. Not as many as you might expect. There's a couple of those. Although there are different labels. I don't know if that matters for anything. Got some Yar's Revenge in there. I don't know much about these games. I cleaned them up a little bit. Again, most of them are missing some part of the label. This one has both sides, but it's in kind of shitty condition. I'm on the fence about this. So my two choices are to sell all of this and kind of, you know, make the money back or make a few dollars on it, or buy one of those Atari Plus systems and keep the games and play them, which I was leaning toward, but then I just wasn't sure if I'd like how much I'd get out of it because I'm not that into Atari. So I don't know. You tell me if you think I should sell them or go in for the Atari Plus system. One of the reasons I'm hesitant to do the Atari Plus system is because I kind of want to get the Superstation 1, which is an FPGA system that's about $200, and after shipping, it's about $260. The Atari Plus controller bundle is, I think, around 150 something. I don't want to. I could play all the Atari games on the Superstation, or really in a lot of different ways, just not with the official controllers and things. So anyway, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that is everything I got this past weekend, or at least most of what I got this past weekend. I might head out again this weekend. We'll see. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. In the meantime, if you like, check out my free audio short story on Tales to Terrify. Get excited about the upcoming novel, The Precipice of Nowhere, which is coming out later this year. And don't forget, you could check out my other work on Retro Days, where I write the scripts. That's Retro DAZE. It's all nostalgia stuff. Very cool channel. I don't host it, but I write the scripts, as I said. And I'll keep you updated with anything else happening. Breathe deep in the night. Goodbye.